What do you think about Robert Kennedy's chances to be the next president? Were you surprised that he ran? Is the fact that he's running shedding a lot of light on this topic? Because he was the anti-vaxxer who no one would talk to. I think he had the best-selling book in America last year, and it wasn't reviewed by the New York Times. And now he's actually got a chance to speak, and I think everyone that's hearing him is like, wow, we need to listen to more. Just tell me about your thoughts on him.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I had obviously started speaking to him September last year when he called me. Then he interviewed me for his podcast, had a long conversation with him there. And then I met him for the first time in Malibu in November, an event organized where I was speaking, Robert and a couple of other people involved in CHD. And I think he's a wonderful man. In fact, I was so impressed with him. I'd already listened to the way he was approaching issues around corporate corruption of medicine and big food and all that kind of stuff before that. And I also know the family he comes from, and I had followed the politics and work of John F. Kennedy, of Robert Kennedy, well before, of his father, the late Robert Kennedy, before I'd even come across his son, and had huge admiration for their politics and their approach. So he certainly looks like he's a chip off the old block. I think he is, it's interesting. I mentioned to a couple of members of his team when we were en route, when they were dropping me to the airport, I think the day after the event, and they looked at it, I said, this guy needs to run for president. And I said, with everything I know, my political instincts or just feeling where things are, I think the world will be a much better place if this guy runs and he wins, and I think he can do it. And they were a little bit like, oh, why do you say that? Really? Like, oh. And then when he announced it, I was over the moon. He has great integrity. He's a compassionate man. He's willing to listen. I think he can bridge the gap between right and left. And I think we're seeing that already. Yeah. Many people I know who are traditional Republicans, so I've got many, many friends in the States who, interestingly, would vote for Trump as saying that we're going to vote for Robert Kennedy Jr. And I've been certainly on my talks, all that I've been giving talks around the world and even Australia. One part of my talk, I bring up a quote from, when I talk about ethics and spirituality, I bring up a really beautiful quote from his father, Robert Kennedy, talking about how the growth national product doesn't account for the beauty of our poetry or the strength of our marriages or the integrity of our public officials. And I say that Robert Kennedy, I think, is the epitome in many ways of his father. I think Robert Kennedy Sr. was the best president the United States never had. And now there's an opportunity for actually some, that legacy to continue through his son. And it's interesting to get a feel of where people are on this, Brian. Every time I mention Robert Kennedy's name and how I support him, and I think there is a round of applause consistently from the audience. Everywhere I've spoken.
That's how you know.
Yeah. So I genuinely fully back him, support him, and I believe he can win. And I think the world will be a better place if that happens.
I do too. I think the fact that he's running is already changing the conversation. He's the only politician that I think I remember seeing in 20 or 30 years that could bridge the gap.
Yes.
Like it's just,
and he understands the problems at the roots, right?
Yeah.
He understands what's going on here in terms of this corporate capture of democracy as well. And interestingly, in his opening speech he gave when he announced his presidency, he said something along the lines of, if I haven't reversed the chronic disease epidemic in the US in my first 4 years or made inroads, then I will step down, I will resign. And I was like, wow. And the reality is that can be done within 4 years. So I'm very supportive, and I'm working behind the scenes as well with some of his team, and they interviewed me and asked me stuff. So I'm very happy to go there, and I'm probably going to do something with him, during the summer in the States. Hopefully we'll do some sort of event and really just, get people to fully understand this, all of these structural failures and the solutions to these problems in the United States. Because the last decade of my work, a lot of my work focuses on health problems in the US anyway.
Yeah, it must. Yeah, he's got a lot of things that he says he can do from day one to just stop a lot of these conflicts of interest in a lot of these organizations. And he knows, he sees it, not to mention the CIA and everything else. There's a lot of people that don't want that to happen, but there's a lot of people that do. He's obviously running on the Democratic ticket, which has some interesting things. There's no one else running, is there? I think it's just Robert and Biden, right? As far as I know. So how that plays out is just...
And he started very well.
Yeah.
Right? His ratings are really high considering, he's just come out of the blue.
I mean, quarterly into the mainstream, he's got 20% of the vote. I've heard, other people say that he's neck and neck with Biden.
And I think that's only going to go one direction, in the right direction, because he's got some of the media attacks coming in, but I think the Rogan interview was excellent. And I think actually they're not going to be able to go anywhere by keep calling him an anti-vaxxer. It's only going to last so long. They're going to have to start actually listening to the rest of the stuff he's saying.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.